All right, number 16, looking at differences between or and situations. So 16A, the 75% chance of getting homework on a Thursday, 50% chance on Friday. They really need to tell you here that these are independent events, that I'm not going to change my probability based on what I decided on the previous day. But assuming these are independent events, Thursday and Friday, and would be a multiply, and if those are independent events, I can just multiply those fractions, in this case, these percents. So Thursday, that would be 0.75, and Friday, that would be 0.50, and if we multiply those out, it's going to be about, what is that, 37.5%, I think. Yeah, it's 0.375. You could write that as 37.5%. Actually, it says nearest tenth, find the probability. So I guess that would be 37.5% probability, just to follow what they were giving us in the problem. All right, part B. Part B says we want the probability of assigning it Thursday or Friday. Now, or usually means that you're going to add the probabilities. This one's convenient for error checking because if you add the two probabilities, you get something greater than 100%. So clearly that's not the issue, or that's not going to work. Okay, so a couple ways you can think about this. Thursday or Friday, but not both. That means that you want Thursday and then not Friday. Or you want it not Thursday and then you are planning to have it on Friday. Okay, so probability of having it on Thursday is 0.75. Probability of not having it on Friday is 50%. Okay, and if you multiply that together, that's 0.375. For the second one, not having it on Thursday, that's a 25% chance. Having it on Friday, that's a 50% chance, and that's going to be 0.125. It could be this, which is just Thursday, or it could be this, which is just Friday, which means you can just add those two things together. Okay, it's not the way I would do the problem, but anyway, you end up with 0.50, which is 50%. Okay, I would suggest when we talked about OR problems, we discussed the idea that you have to subtract out the intersection between the two groups, the overlap. Okay, so the way I would look at this, I think we talked about the Venn diagram at some point. You could have homework Thursday, you could have it Friday, or you could have it both. And we found the probability earlier of having it Thursday and Friday. That's 0.375. We already found that. So the probability of both days is 37.5%. I can put that in my overlap. Okay, this one has to add up to 75% or 0.75. This one has to add up to 0.50. And so you can actually find the probability that's just on Thursday by taking that 0.75 and subtracting the 0.375, which is going to be another 0.375. You can take your 0.50 and subtract the 0.375, and that's going to be 0.125. And then you can see there's the probability of just Thursday, probability of just Friday, and you can add those two things up, 0.375 plus 0.125, and you get 0.50, which of course is really 50%. Okay, and that's the same answer we got before. Okay, now what does this really tell us? It really tells us that you don't want to double count that middle part in there. You don't want to count that 0.375 for both groups. If this was just purely OR, which it was not, but if it was purely an OR problem, if it was just Thursday or Friday, that means anything that's in any of these circles, because Thursday or Friday normally would mean that they gave it Thursday and not Friday, Friday and not Thursday, or both days, okay? And if that was the case, the probability, and this doesn't ask you for that, but if it's probability of Thursday or Friday, that's really the probability of Thursday plus the probability of Friday. And then you have to subtract out the probability that you give homework Thursday and Friday, okay? And so that would have been 0.75 plus 0.50 minus the overlap between the two. And anyway, in this particular case, that's going to end up being 0.875. So there's an 87.5% chance that they get homework sometime. Okay. Now, question didn't ask that, but could have been asked, and I think it's pretty likely they could ask that kind of thing. So always important to remember the probability of event A or event B is the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the intersection of the two. Basic formula. Or problems can be a little bit tougher than and problems. All right, part C. Part C says, what's the probability that he assigns homework at least one of the 2 days? So that could be Friday, but not Thursday. That could be Thursday, but not Friday, or it could be both. So actually, we have it there. That 0.875 took care of that. Now, you could also do the complement. You could say, well, what's the opposite of assigning at least one of 2 days? That would be to assign neither of the days. Okay, so it is a good complement one, and we'll see we get the same answer. So that would be no homework Thursday, which is 0.25, and no homework Friday, which is 0.50, which is 0.125. So that's the probability that you have no homework at all. So the probability that you have homework at least one of the 2 days would be 1 minus 0.125, which in fact is 0.875, which is really 87.5%, which is the same thing we got up here, approaching it from a little different perspective. So lots of ways you can do that.